welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be a little bit more relaxed. I'm going to try and catch up on this thing. I am very far behind. I got real deep into con prep, which we'll talk about. But I wanted to use this opportunity while I'm catching up on this to talk to you about some things going on, what I have planned moving forward, and if you watch my other videos, you saw the disappointments from GalaxyCon, and we'll kind of talk about that. But also, I wanted to use this channel to build a little community. So we're going to start off with that as I get into temperature blankets. So the last time I did my temperature blanket, let me see, because I write all my little things down. That's my guide. I think it was like April. Today is June 10th. And okay, so I got, March 26th was the last hexagon that I made. So very far behind. I have found this process more monotonous than I would have liked. Would it have been an easier process if I would have chosen like a single row or a different type of temperature blanket? Yes. I really like the way the ones look where you do, it's a granny square, but you do one row every day. And this is 3 rows every day. And that just became, I get busy, my ADHD gets in the way, and obviously I lose track of time, and the farther behind you get, the worse it gets. The worse it gets. So I haven't decided if I'm going to finish it. However, I started a row and I can't stop it. So I thought if I could just finish the row, and then it becomes like a nice, because I mean, look at how big this is. And this is only March. So that was another problem I had. Like, when I started it, I had other people saying like, whoa, that's going to be a big blanket. And I was like, oh, well, that's not so bad. So I think I took on too much. And it overwhelmed me very quickly. But it will make a nice little thing for the back of the couch. So just we'll do a little rearranging so you could see. Look how nice that looks. When I'm filming videos, oh, look how pretty. And you can't tell that it's not a, so the goal for today, we're gonna crochet and we're gonna finish this row at the very least. I'm going to work on this row because that'll probably take me 2 hours, and I don't want this video to be 2 hours. So I'm gonna work on it and we're gonna chat. So if this is the first time you're coming to my channel, welcome. My name is Kelly. It's chaos over here, and I'm winging it through life and trying to figure out. I didn't grow up with social media, so I am navigating all these things for the first time. I used to post things to Facebook and stuff like that, and when my business got to a certain point, I knew social media would have to become a big part of it. So I immediately started a Facebook business page, and then I was like, okay, well, Instagram would be good too. So I started Instagram, and kind of, so my younger niece was like, nobody uses Facebook anymore. And I was like, okay. So I stopped Facebook and focused on Instagram. And then as I got more into the markets and I was watching other people, crafters, go to markets and stuff like that, as a crafter, it's always in the back of my brain, oh, I could do that. So let me know if you have that as a crafter. So we're navigating, and we learn a little bit every single time we do this. And I think I'm getting better and better and better and better. As of today, I am at 108, which is a very small number, but that is humongous for me. And I thank you all so much for hanging out with me in all of this chaos, because that is ridiculous. But of course we want to grow our community, and I want to share the process with everybody. So if you're new, my name is Kelly. I live in Tennessee. So if you want to join me and be in a community, put in the comments. Where are you? Where in the world? I was going to put in the States, but where in the world are you? What kind of craft do you do? Or do you just like watching crafts? Because that's totally okay also. So I want to know what kind of crafts you do. Have you done a temperature blanket? This is very monotonous. I don't know how anybody with ADHD does this. And like I said, I took on the most intricate temperature version that I possibly could have. So if you don't do anything else, like if you're only doing like a temperature blanket just to crochet and make in your spare time, and like you don't have a full-fledged business going, this would be fantastic because it's beautiful. I love how it's turning out. But trying to do something every single day when I'm also navigating business stuff I just can't. And I hate to give up on things, but at the same time, there are more important things that I have to do, obviously, because I'm writing down. I've been trying to like keep track of all the temperatures for the day, but I'm also very far behind. And I've reached a point, I don't know if catching all the way up is worth it. I have big markets coming up, and I have big plans for next year. So on that note, let's look at what the temperature is. So the next one, I'm never prepared for making these videos, so if you like that kind of chaos, stick around. So, because I gotta look at what the temperature is, and then I have to look at my guide. So the low was 35. Okay, so I need royal blue. Alright, excellent. So if you watched my last video, I'll adjust this just a little bit so you can see me crocheting a little bit. We're learning as we go, and it's fine. My last market was a little bit of a disappointment. So I did GalaxyCon in Nashville, and it was a 3-day event, and I expected it to be fantastic. I won't go into all the details because that'll take too long. I did make a whole video on it. So, but what does that mean? I wanted to travel around, like I wanted to travel around, like when our kids got a little older, I wanted to be able to travel around a little bit and do more Comicons. That's not right. There we go. Forgive me if I lose track of what I'm doing, because crocheting and talking is very hard for me. I'm working on it. I'm getting better. And so I went into the GalaxyCon with very high expectations because I had watched other videos of other people go to other GalaxyCons. And so I was very excited about going. And like my husband had hyped me up, and he's like, I don't know if we're going to be able to do any of these other markets, because at the beginning of the year, my plan was to fill each month. I was going to do a market each month, which is a lot for me. And then kind of as we were seeing how big GalaxyCon was going to be, we were like, maybe we shouldn't do any of these other markets, because you're going to sell out. And I didn't. That's okay. If you go back and watch the video, I did do better than some people. However, I have done better at one-day markets. I had a market at the winery that I do. They do it twice a year. I do it twice a year. I made this past May, right before, I made like $1,600. The GalaxyCon, it was 3 days. So I expected to I went into it thinking like $1,000 a day, because that's what I can make at the market. But I only walked away with like $1,500. And for a 3-day con like that, it was very disappointing. And like I immediately was like I had to sit my husband down. I'm like, what are we gonna do? And he was like, there's nothing to do. He's not like me at all. He doesn't look at things. I'm very, oh my God, it's the end of the world. What are we gonna do? And he is not like that. He's like, it happens. But when I've only done not well at 1 or 2 markets. And so I did one. I used to do one at the little airport, and then it became more of a trick-or-treating event. And so we had decided, let's not do that one anymore, because people don't come to buy things. They come for free candy and to look at the airplanes and stuff like that. So, but we had been talking to all the other vendors, and everybody had some ideas of why it was doing, because it wasn't just me that was doing not well. It was pretty much everybody. We talked to a couple of vendors. They either didn't make their table fee, which was a very high price, or they just made it at the very end. And I was like, that's unacceptable in my book. And so, but one of the things that one of the vendors said was that, hang on, 1, 2, 4, okay, was that when they go to a new city for the first time, they haven't figured out how to advertise. And I know I'm repeating a lot of the things that I said in that video, but so we kind of made the choice that we're not going to give up on it. I don't know that we'll do it next year. We'll try and find some other markets or some other cons and stuff like that, and do that. And we'll give GalaxyCon a couple of years to kind of figure Nashville out. And who knows, by then we might be traveling. So Because I am in Tennessee, my goal for right now is to kind of stick. My business license is in Tennessee, so we're trying to stick to Tennessee, right? 2, 3, 4. Okay. You got 6 little sections that you gotta make. Instead of 4, you make 6 to make a hexagon. Right? Right. So and then we switch to the next color. So I think we're just going to take it as, look at, instead of focusing on the disappointment of I didn't make as much money as I would have liked to, we're going to focus on I made some money, and I count myself lucky that I did as well as I did, because some people didn't do as well. I did meet some amazing vendors, and they gave me a lot of good information. I learned a lot from them, from doing my first like big con and stuff like that. So I'm gonna take the positives from that, and we're gonna move on. And I mean, if anything, if you should get anything from maybe my rambling, is sometimes the market doesn't work out. Sometimes it rains. Sometimes you just have to take a deep breath and move forward. If that market doesn't feel right for you going forward, that's okay too. So that's what we decided for GalaxyCon. I'm not sure now if they email us and like, okay, well, we'll give you half off booth fee. Okay, I'll do it. Fantastic. If not, we'll give GalaxyCon a couple more years. But the next one I have, let me check my things so I can try and keep working. The next one I have is PokeFest. And if you've seen any of my stuff, you know that I like to make the Pokemon. So, that used to be, I didn't want to do it. They've done it a couple of years, here, but I didn't want to do it because it was at this very, like, disheveled, rinky-dink little hotel. And it's like, really? There aren't any other, like, hotels you could have done this in? Like, I mean, the lobby had a pool. The pool was in the lobby. And so I just couldn't spend the $100 to do that fest. I've went and scoped it out a couple of times, and the room that they have it in is just so small, and it feels so cramped and claustrophobic, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. There's no way that I would come out making any type of money. And then this year, they moved it to a bigger hotel, and I was like, okay, now I'll consider it. So I signed up for it, and it was one of those, I mean, first come, first serve, that I just paid for the slot. There was no choosing. There was just pay for the slot. I was like, okay, I guess we don't have to wait to see if I got into that one. And so they do an anime fest, the same people who run it, do an anime fest in November. And so if I do good at this, I might go ahead and try and see if they have any slots left for that one. Because, I mean, that's like in my backyard. And you can't beat a market or a con or something that's in your backyard, right? That you don't have to travel very far from. And, I mean, that's almost all profit. The table fee for that is, like I said, $100, but hopefully it'll be worth it. And then, so that opens up some other opportunities as well, because I know that Polka Fest is one of those things that kind of travel a little bit. And so like they have it in a bunch of different cities. And so, I mean, it opens up for us when we start thinking about traveling and stuff like that. The first ones we talked about doing was, when we were traveling for cons and stuff like that, was Fanboy. Because that's in Knoxville, and that's just 3.5 hours. And like we've been, and we went to scope it out. So, that was very exciting, and so the potential for that is really good. And so like I said, I don't want to kick the idea of ever doing the GalaxyCon and stuff like that, because there are things that come here that do well. I just think they weren't prepared as they should have been. But I have Polka Fest, and then I have Nashville Celebrity Con, which I'm very excited for. So that one is usually in March, and somewhere between March and like the beginning of April. So those are good ones. So the only reason it's in fall this time is because it snowed real heavy, and they had to move it. The building lost power, the fairground building lost power and stuff like that. And so they had to move it to a new building. And it still went off, and it still did great. However, they had paid for the slot for the fairgrounds. So the fairgrounds gave them a makeup day. And when I signed up for it, it was a 2-day event, and I was like, And then after, like a month later, they made it a 3-day event, and I was like, okay. And then as I signed up for, as the time went on, they've been adding more and more and more celebrities, that like big celebrities that I'm very excited about. So that was another thing that one of the vendors was talking about, that we didn't have big enough celebrities, is why they didn't come. But I mean, I was excited. Jodie Benson was there and stuff like that, and so I don't know. Maybe the younger generation didn't like it. Wasn't young enough for them. Wasn't A-list enough for them. So we'll see. Nashville Celebrity Con is at the end, is in October, and I am very, very excited for that. Matthew Lillard is coming. My brain just completely, and Freddy Krueger is coming, and Scream actors are coming, and we're very excited. So I'm trying to give myself, I'm trying to be more optimistic about it, go into it just same way I went into the other one. Maybe less, because like I said, for GalaxyCon, my husband had kind of, oh yeah, we're going to sell out. And he was joking around. He was like, we're going to make $30,000. I'm like, that's not even realistic. Even if I sold every single piece of thing that I have, I don't think we would come away with $30,000. But I'm going to go into Nashville Celebrity Con with a more realistic thing. So they haven't even come out with their schedule, so I don't know what time they start on Friday. We'll see. So I'm going to go into it with very realistic goals. I still think I should be able to make like about 1,800 a day. For such a big event, I should be able to make what I make at the winery for a day, right? Am I crazy? Put it in the comments. What have you done these? What should my expectations be? Should I lower them and maybe if I make more than GalaxyCon, then it's a win. It's a win. I mean, really the tiers are, of course, table fee. And because it's local, I don't have hotels. I bring my own food, even though they say don't, but I have to. I have tummy issues. So I don't like to eat, I don't want to spend the whole weekend eating junk food. Plus, there was one day where the lines were so long, we just couldn't get food. There was no food. I mean, it wasn't a possibility to get food. And that's the reality of that. Okay, so I've rambled and rambled for far too long. That's why I say we can't finish this. Look, I've rambled and I've only made one square. What are we going to do? So for the moment, I'm going to join this one and let's talk more about building communities because, let's say, what do we want to talk about next? I like to see what everybody else does, and I want to be a community, and so if you have a page, put it in the comments and I'll go and follow. Let's help each other out. So I have found it very hard, obviously, because I only got one done, to crochet and talk at the same time. I keep getting notifications on my phone, and so I'm very distracted, and I lost count. I don't even know if this is going to be right. That's okay. Like I said, I wanted to hop on here, tell you what's happening in the future, maybe help you out if you face some disappointments, what we got going on, and yeah. I think that's we're gonna get through today. I only got one square. Let me know in the comments. Should I finish this? Should I go all year long? What should I do? Should I start over? I don't think that's an option at all. Or just make it a little thing. Let me know what you think. I want lots of comments. That's what I'm going to make this video. Lots of comments. Give me a comment. Let me know where you're from. What kind of craft do you do? Do you do markets? Do you want me to do more market? I can only do the market videos that I have. Do you like crochet? Do you like sitting here and watching me chat, ramble on about weird things? What do you want to chat about next? I'm working on some other videos. I have other things coming up this month. So we've got plans. Hopefully I can execute the plans without getting distracted and going off chasing a squirrel. I don't know. It's chaos over here. So, thanks for hanging out with me. We'll see you next time. Bye.